I just want to bring to life, or just re-emphasize, I guess, just what some of those steps are. And I pick up with the first part, which is around the scope. So Omar said you could pick teams, you could start it in a number of different ways, and that's absolutely right. It is a tool set, an approach that allows you to be quite discreet. So we can pick the whole organisation. Ultimately, potentially, that's where you can make the most significant impact. You could pick a function. So people services, a wonderful example. You heard it here. Gary's interested. So you could pick a function in an organisation and say, actually, where does that function need to be? Where do I need to raise the bar in performance? And therefore, let's use the Human Performance Index. You could pick a project. You know, I know several of you around the table have got significant, large programs that are going on in your organisations that will have a direct influence in the success of your function or your business. What better way? You know, we've all been in projects, we've all been in programs, you know, change programs keep coming down the track. How do you make sure that change program really delivers? And of course you need great project management expertise, you need fantastic PMOs, you need a wonderful project manager. But actually, it's back to the people and the way that they're interacting between project teams, if you're talking about a program, that really make the difference. So a program or a project is another way that you could use, or another avenue that the HPI could be focused on. And I guess the last area is if your organisation has very strategic or specific business processes. So if you are pharma, for example, you know, innovation and development is a very important process in your organisation. So do you take that lifeblood process, that end-to-end innovation process, and say, okay, how do I use the Human Performance Index to ensure that that process, which is just no more than a series of steps done by people, how do we make sure that that process really delivers the results that we want? So I guess that was the first thing to clarify. Omar touched on it at the end. The scope of where you might deploy this tool is 3 or 4 different areas. The second was something that Omar didn't pick up on, but it's certainly in the white paper that you've got, and I can see that kind of open around the tables. And it's important to create a degree of rigour, because that's what we're trying to establish with this tool. And it says we are going to take those 4 areas, focus areas that we've talked about, and we're going to look at each of those areas through these 3 lenses. The first is the quality of engagement. So if you pick leadership, for example, yeah, we've got great strategy, so you can begin to tick the boxes on the HPI tool. Yeah, we've got great strategy. How well engaged, and what's the quality of that engagement in that leadership deployment process? Are they going through the motions, or are they truly believing that this is where they can make a difference? So we can work out, are we doing the right things? Are we doing the right things in the right way? And the quality of engagement is one of those dimensions. The second is systems and processes. So we can have really great engagement, but if you have got an ad hoc process, how do you create consistency? How do you create replication? How do you make sure that we can do it now with this group of leaders, but we can do it over here with this group of leaders too? And that's about having the systems and processes that drives great leadership. I'll just stick with that as an example. And the last is execution. So we might again have a tick in the boxes of the things that we are doing within that performance area, but are we executing it excellently? And they're just 3 different dimensions that brings a level of rigour, a level of depth to the analysis that says, here's where your opportunities lie,